Hello everyone, this is part 25 of What If Naruto Was in Rosario Vampire, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. He left the Namikaze estates in a good mood. His godfather and that little prick Sasuke were out of the village on a mission. The Hokage had decreed that he would not be allowed to leave the village until he'd achieved the five-tail state. So since his regular sensei was gone, he'd been assigned someone else to temporarily take over his instruction. The Hokage was eager for him to achieve greater power as quickly possible. This sudden haste amused Naruto greatly. Maybe they shouldn't have wasted all that time after Iruka left, he muttered to himself. Cursed demon. Naruto looked up to see an old man glaring at him. He was pleased to see the other people on the street suddenly scattering. It had only been a couple weeks, but the villagers were starting to understand the reality of their situation. Namely that they were all sheep and he was a rabid wolf. You seem to be angry with me for some reason, Naruto teased. Sometimes he would just K them without a word. Today he felt like playing a little bit. Have we ever met? That seemed to make the old man even angrier. Of course not, you damn demon. Well, if we've never met, then what reason would you have to be angry with me? You med my son. Really? Well, I've ked so many people, especially lately. When did I K him exactly? You ked him the night the QB attacked this village. I'm sorry, you must be mistaken. You see, I was just a newborn baby that night. How could I have ked your son? Naruto thought it kind of funny to see the old man turn completely red and begin to shake. He was a brave ninja defending this village and the QB burned him alive. Then I still don't see why you want to argue with me. I'm not the QB. He is inside of you. Naruto nodded. He sure is, the way a prisoner is inside a jail. But you can't talk to him, so I guess his jailer will have to do, huh? You know, I could explain to you the fact that I had no choice in what was done to me, or try and make you understand that it makes no sense to try and punish me for crimes my resident committed. But to be honest, I don't have the time, and I'm sure you wouldn't listen anyway. In his right hand a mass of fire came to life. So why don't you just instead? The old man did not suddenly beg or run away like others had. He instead spat in his direction and stood his ground. Naruto admired that. As a sign of his respect, he made his fire much hotter, changing it from regular orange flames to bright red and then to white. He sent the fire at the old man. The white flames consumed him almost instantly. In just a matter of seconds, the man was reduced to nothing but ash and a few pieces of bone. It was a swift and near painless death, much kinder than the normal burning he usually handed out. He continued down the street past the scorch marks, still in a good mood. XXXXXXXXXX. He arrived at the meeting spot, a small red bridge near the middle of the village. Checking his watch, he saw he was 5 minutes early. As he stood on the bridge, he noted that people on both sides made sudden detours rather than try and cross it. Naruto nodded to himself. This was progress. The past 2 weeks had been a bit of a blur. A lot had happened. A couple days after he'd first ked villages, there had been an actual protest. An angry crowd had gathered in front of the gates to his estate, screaming for him to get out of the village. Seeing them had reminded him of a lot of angry crowds from his youth. He hadn't felt like talking that time. So he had surrounded all of them with clones. Then he'd lit them up. He had deliberately used his weakest flames. He'd wanted them to suffer. He'd simply stood there and listened to their screams and their pleas for mercy. Hearing the villagers ask him for mercy only made him angry. If they had ever shown him any mercy, things might have been different. Why do you have to be so cruel, Naruto-kun? Hinata had asked him. Because those people were just as cruel to me, he'd answered. Why should I show them mercy when they never showed any to me? Naruto-kun, she'd said solemnly. What you're doing isn't justice. It's just revenge. I know. She had looked terribly disappointed at his answer, for some reason that had made him feel just a little bit sad. For a time he'd wondered if she would call off the wedding. If she had wanted to, he'd have let her go with no hard feelings. But despite her misgivings, they'd still married as planned. Her father had performed the ceremony with her entire clan in attendance. But beside the Hyuga, only the Inuzuka clan had chosen to attend. Hinata had moved into the mansion and been given a large bedroom far from the one Naruto and Mocha shared. Naruto made sure she was never alone, except at night. He made a clone who was always at her side to keep her company when she was not training or on a mission. They didn't consummate their marriage, but in person and through his clone he spent a lot of time with Hinata. He talked to her, listened to her, kissed her, and always made her feel welcomed in her new home. Even if she did have to sleep alone. The more time he spent with her, the more he grew to like her, especially since she took it upon herself to do most of the cooking. I know ramen is your favorite, Hinata said. I hope you like mine. He took a mouthful of her savory noodles and was surprised at the delicious flavor. That is really good, Hinata-chan. Hinata blushed and had a pleased smile. Really? Yeah, it's really great. He attacked the bowl in front of him and had quickly devoured it. As he was taking seconds, he noticed Mocha frowning at him. Do you prefer her ramen to mine? Mocha asked coolly. No, of course not. Yours is the best, Mocha-chan. He smiled weakly. It was a blatant lie, but he valued his continued health and well-being too much to be truthful. Mocha nodded slightly. Hinata, you can continue to cook the meals if you like, but I'll be the one who makes ramen for Naruto. Naruto sighed. Well, there was still always Ichiraku's. He dug into his second bowl of Hinata's ramen, determined to enjoy what he could. XXXXXXXXXXX. He glanced at his watch. His new sensei was 15 minutes late. That was long enough. He began walking back towards home. Being late for a meeting was considered very rude, and he was not about to wait any longer. As before, when he walked, people cleared out of his path and gave him a wide berth. Even the handful of ninja he passed made it a point to avoid him. Seeing the fear he inspired only made him feel good. XXXXXXXXXXX. High above the village of Konoha, a clay bird soared through the air. It took less than 1 minute for a bolt of lightning to strike it and completely destroy it with a small explosion. XXXXXXXXXX. On a hillside a few miles away, a pair of carefully concealed ninja watched the end result of their experiment. That's 10 out of 10, yeah. Deidara said. It seems their security is very tight. Sasori grumbled. Only to be expected of a ninja village, particularly one at war. It seems they have a method of detecting any chakra entering their territory. Deidara laughed. I say we just send in a whole flock of my little toys and rain down destruction on them while we sneak in, yeah. He sounded excited. It will be an artistic masterpiece of random destruction, yeah. Sasori shook his head. You call that art? Your silly explosions are not art. Art is eternal inspiration for the human soul. In any case, we will not assault the village. He is the last, and we are under no time constraints. We will take him when he leaves the village. Deidara frowned, clearly disappointed. I want to do it now. Yeah. This is not one of your ridiculous bombings. Sasori sounded annoyed. This is a vital mission, and our opponent was strong enough to defeat Itachi. We cannot waste our efforts fighting off the village ninjas as well as trying to capture him. Deidara grumbled a bit, but grudgingly agreed to follow Sasori's wishes. How long do you think it will take for him to come out? Yeah. It takes as long as it takes. Sounds boring, yeah. That is unimportant, so long as we succeed in capturing him. XXXXXXXXXX. About 2 hours after returning to his mansion, a clone came to inform him that there was a ninja at the gate wanting to speak to him. In order to avoid confusion, all the cage bushins who acted as guards covered their faces and hair with black masks. That way when the original showed up it was obvious. When Naruto arrived at the gate, he saw a ninja with wild silver hair, a green vest, a mask, and his high-tie slung over his left eye. Naruto frowned at the man. I'm guessing you're Kakashi. Grinning beneath his mask, Kakashi nodded. Yeah, that's me. Sorry about being so late. Naruto looked at his watch pointedly. Is there a reason you were 2 hours late? Hey, well, I sort of got lost on the road of life. I see. Naruto turned around and began walking back towards the mansion. Where are you going? A surprised Kakashi called. I was studying some jutsu scrolls. I think I'll get back to them now. Ah, but I'm supposed to give you some training. Naruto halted and looked back over his shoulder at the man. If you actually wanted to train me, you would not have been 2 hours late. If you prefer starting at 10 rather than 8, that would have been fine. But to be deliberately late to a meeting you scheduled is nothing but an insult. And the fact that you can't even bother to come up with a reasonable lie only makes it worse. So I won't be working with you, goodbye Kakashi. Kakashi stood there dumbfounded as Naruto began to walk away again. He'd actually planned to tell him about his father and at least try to change his behavior towards the villagers. You know, I used to be a student of your father's. Naruto did not bother to stop or turn around. That's nice. Kakashi could only stand there and watch as Naruto disappeared around a bend. This was actually a new experience for him. He'd often have students complain about his tardiness, but this was the first time he'd had one flat out refuse to work with him because of it. The Hokage is not going to be happy about this. XXXXXXXXXXX. Naruto only just entered his mansion when he spotted a stranger standing there in the grand hallway. He was quite surprised. Somehow or other she had managed to sneak in past all 200 of his clones and without him sensing her at all. She looked to be a girl of 13 or 14 with long orange hair, green eyes. She had on a white button-down shirt, a short red skirt, and knee-high white stockings. As soon as he entered, she turned around to glare at him. Who are you? She demanded. Naruto returned her hostile look. I'm the owner of the house you just broke into, now why don't you tell me who you are? The girl had a small brown bat sitting on her shoulder. The bat flew into the air and transformed into a large iron mace which the girl gripped in both hands. I'm Shuzen Kokoa and I've come here for Mocha. He felt some alarm as he never took a threat to his wife lightly. What the hell do you mean you're here for Mocha? He growled at her. The girl held the mace threateningly and began to approach him. I mean, I am taking her away from this place. Now where is she? You're not taking Mocha from me, little girl. We'll see. With no further warning, she covered the distance between them and swung her mace, aiming for his chest. She was caught off guard as she saw him transform. His body seemed to mature, his hair grew and lightened, a pair of fangs extended out of his mouth, the scars on his face vanished, and his eyes turned red. Most impressive of all, she saw and felt a demonic aura surround him. It had taken on physical form with what looked like 4 tails swinging above his head. He caught her attack in a single hand with ease. You're a vampire, she cried out in shock. For the moment, he agreed. Now that she was right up close, he noticed something. She was radiating an aura he was very familiar with. It was similar to the one that always surrounded Mocha, just much weaker. You're a vampire too, if a really weak one. Hey, she let go of the mace and instead tried to punch him. He caught that with his other hand and tossed her weapon aside while holding her fist tight. Why don't you have red eyes? Naruto asked casually. She wasn't wearing a rosary. He'd taken her measure, she was pretty strong compared to a human or regular ninja. But she wasn't in Mocha's class or his. You may as well tell me, you're not going anywhere. As if to prove his point, she tried desperately to pull her hand free, but he held her perfectly in place. Unbelievable. He's stronger than Neeson. He's almost as strong as father. I don't have red eyes because I haven't fully matured yet. But I'm still really powerful. Now tell me what you've done with Mocha or I'll make you regret it. He looked down at her. In case you haven't noticed it, I'm not the one who's in trouble right now. What is going on out here? Mocha stormed down the staircase. Naruto-kun, why are you using so much power? Seeing Mocha, the girl twisted about and tried to break loose from Naruto's GS. Neeson, I've finally found you. Neeson. Naruto let go of the girl and she immediately raced up the stairs. Neeson, I've found you. She leapt to try and give Mocha a hug, only to smack her head against Mocha's outstretched palm. Kokoa, Mocha said with a frown. What are you doing here? And why were you attacking my husband? Kokoa suddenly froze and stopped trying to give her elder sister a hug. Husband. Kokoa turned around to stare at the still transformed Naruto. Naruto grinned up at her with his fanged mouth. So I guess that would make you my sister-in-law, wouldn't it? Welcome to the family, little sister. Her response was to howl and unleash a wave of current as she raced down the staircase, determined to K him. You know, Mocha-chan, growing up I always wanted to have a brother or sister. Sometimes I would imagine what it would be like. Naruto sent his wife a fanged grin. I always knew siblings fought, but isn't this a little much? All the furniture in the grand hallway was pretty much destroyed, as was one wall. Mocha sadly shook her head. I apologize, my beloved. Cocoa has always had a one-track mind and never known when to stop. MMPH. CMPH. MMMPH. RRRMM. Ignoring the muffled sounds, she continued. When I decided to leave home and find my mother, Cocoa was very upset. Even though she and I are half-sisters and our relationship was not exactly loving, she saw me as a role model. She would challenge me to an endless series of duels as a way to prove herself. Let me guess, she never won, did she? RRRMLMM. No, she never did, but that never stopped her from trying. Mocha sighed. Even after I left, she refused to accept the fact I had decided to try and find friendship with someone outside the family. She was also upset at my decision to put on the rosary and seal my powers. She would continually track me down and terrorize me in an effort to get me to give up my search for friendship. Mocha shook her head a bit. In our own way we are close, I suppose. Certainly my relationship with her is the strongest I have with any of my family. Naruto looked at her in surprise. So the sister who constantly attacked and terrorized you was the one you were closest to? Mocha nodded. Don't take this the wrong way, Mocha-chan, but your family sounds kind of dysfunctional. Dysfunctional does not even begin to describe my family. RRRFF, MGNNNGKLLLU. I'm sorry, did you say something, Imuoto? Naruto grinned at her. He was no longer surrounded by his demonic aura but was still in vampiric form. Did you say something, little sister? From her spot on the floor where she was currently chained hand and foot and gagged, Cocoa glared at him mercilessly. Mocha crossed her arms over her chest and frowned down at her. Cocoa, it is one thing for you to attack me, but it is quite another for you to attack my husband. HMNNNNYRRRRBNNNN. She lifted a single eyebrow. Do not be ridiculous, of course he is my husband. Or, what's the matter? Do you not like having a Nissan? Naruto grinned at her. By the way she was glaring back at him, he thought she would bite him if she could. Now if you're willing to talk sensibly, I'll take your gag off. But if you start screaming or cursing me, I swear I'll stick you in a closet for the rest of the day. Now are you going to be civilized? Though she still looked furious, she gave a single nod. Careful to keep his fingers well away from her mouth, he pulled down her gag. As soon as it was off, she looked at Mocha. Nissan, what happened? How did this animal force you to marry him? Mocha's immediate response was to bop her on top of her head. Ow. You will not speak disrespectfully of my beloved, she told Cocoa sharply. As to being somehow forced into this marriage, do not be ridiculous. I married Naruto out of love and no other reason. Him. She looked at Naruto contemptuously. No way could such a weakling be worthy of my beautiful and amazing sister. Well, if I'm a weakling, what does that make you? Naruto asked good-naturedly. I did thrash you pretty easily. I could definitely beat you. Cocoa declared loudly. No doubt you will begin challenging him to duels. Mocha shook her head wearily. Count yourself very lucky that Naruto does not choose to see you as an enemy even though you attacked him. He has within him the power of a demon lord. A demon lord. Him. Don't make me laugh. Hey, I wish the villagers had felt that way. Ignoring his comment, she turned back to her sister. Nissan, I'm really glad you finally got rid of that stupid rosary and let your strong, beautiful self come out again. Let's go home, Nissan, and forget about all this. Mocha stepped up to Naruto's side and put her hand into his. I am home, Cocoa. Wherever my beloved is, that is my home. But what about your family? Cocoa demanded. What about them? Mocha asked coolly. There has never been any warmth or real feeling between any of us. If there had, perhaps I would not have been so lonely and would not have decided to leave. Naruto is the one who has given me love, not my family. My loyalty is to him, not them. Cocoa stared at her. You'd really choose him over your family? Is that not what I just said? Cocoa turned her attention to Naruto. Just how the hell did you manage to convince my beautiful and strong sister to be with you? Naruto seemed to think about it for a second. Well, there is this thing I do with my tongue. Mocha immediately slapped him in the back of the head. Ow. We love each other and have taken away each other's loneliness. It is as simple as that. I love him and I will not leave him for any reason. Father will never accept this, Kokoa said darkly. You know that, right? Naruto was surprised to see a nervous look cross his wife's face. Father has nothing to do with this. He agreed to let me go. Kokoa shook her head. He agreed to let you be with your mom and then decided to leave you alone when you were playing at being a schoolgirl. But actually getting married, and to a human, even if he does have a little bit of power in him, Father will never accept him or this marriage. It is not Father's decision. Kokoa laughed nastily. Oh, I want to be there when you tell him that. Mocha is my wife, Naruto said in a low and serious tone. And no one is going to take her away from me, and that includes her father. Kokoa grinned at her sister. He has no idea, does he? Enough, Naruto said sharply. The good humor he'd been in was gone. Anything that threatened to separate him from Mocha was enough to sour his mood. Even though you attacked me, I don't have anything against you. It's obvious you care about Mocha, in your own weird way, and I've always wanted a little sister, so I certainly won't hurt you. But I think you should go. Kokoa smiled at him. Well, I could go, but I think I'd like to stay here for a while. I've missed my beautiful and strong sister and I'd like to spend some time with her. Otherwise, I'll just have to go home and tell Father what's going on. I think it would be best to allow her to stay, Mocha said quickly. She looked to Naruto and he could see the worry. All right, Naruto nodded slowly. If you want her to stay, that's fine. But let's get something straight. He turned to the chained-up girl with the orange hair and pigtails. I don't appreciate being attacked or threatened. Since you are a part of my family now, I won't seriously hurt you, but if you attack me again, I will lock you in a closet. Are we clear? Kokoa laughed. Fine, if you can actually put me in one. Kokoa, Mocha said firmly. You will not attack him again. Is that clear? Fine, she muttered. Now get me out of these damn chains. Though he still had his doubts, Naruto freed her. Unfortunately, almost as soon as she was freed, the main door opened. A beautiful girl with dark blue hair and pale lavender eyes entered. She froze, stunned not by the arrival of a guest but by the utter destruction of the once pristine grand hallway. Naruto-kun, what happened here? Kokoa looked at the girl suspiciously and turned to her sister. Who's that? That is Hinata, Mocha answered. Naruto's second wife. Kokoa froze for a second, then turned to glare furiously in Naruto's direction. Second wife, you disgusting pig. My beautiful and amazing sister isn't enough for you. With that she immediately charged at him. XXXXXXXXXX. Is this really all right? Hinata asked nervously. It's fine, Hinata, Mocha reassured her. But are you really going to let Naruto leave her chained and locked up in that closet? It's just until tomorrow. Oh, and don't try to feed her or she may try to escape. Hinata shook her head and wondered, not for the first time, what her life had turned into. XXXXXXXXXXX. So he refused to accept instruction from you. The Hokage said coolly. An embarrassed Kakashi tried to laugh but it wouldn't come. Pretty much. You are dismissed. Hi Hokage-sama. Kakashi got out as quickly as he could. The Hokage frowned and looked at the papers on his desk. They were petitions from the villages and from business groups asking that Naruto be arrested or at the very least expelled from the village. Those did not worry him. Konoha was not a democracy. Here political power rested in the hands of the ninja, and especially with the clans. It was the mounting opposition among the clans that was beginning to worry him. As Hokage he held, theoretically, total power. The council was there to advise him but he was not required to accept their advice. They could not pass laws over his veto. They could not prevent his laws from going into effect. In theory the council held no actual power. The reality was very different, as Sarutobi had once discovered. If the clans were against him they could easily circumvent his orders. To really rule he had to have the support, or at least the tolerance, of the council members. Naruto's actions were making that more and more difficult for him to hold on to. The problem was he had to be very careful how he dealt with Naruto. Jiraiya's seal gave him control over him, but nothing like total control. If he tried to hold the leash too tight, Naruto might disappear or turn on him, even at the risk of immediate death. He had hoped that Kakashi, as the Yondaim's only remaining student, might have struck a chord with Naruto and calmed him a bit. Instead Naruto had been insulted by the copy nin's perpetual tardiness. It was not a surprise as Naruto did not seem to be responding to the Yondaime sensei either. He needed a way to calm the situation a bit, and perhaps demonstrate Naruto's value to the village. XXXXXXXXXXX. An hour later in the office of the Hokage, Naruto was grinning. So I'm finally getting a mission. The Hokage nodded. I feel it is time that the village finally gets some benefit from your abilities. You are not yet strong enough to lead the assault on Suna, but from what Jiraiya tells me you have acquired several jutsus and are more powerful than any single ninja in this village. You should be more than capable of completing this mission. You're actually letting me go alone. His grin turned into a smile. You actually showing a little trust in me. I trust you to obey my orders. Should you fail to, the hunter nins will be sent after you. And they will each know the necessary hand sign to end your life. Hokage-sama, your doubt wounds me. Of course I will be more than happy to carry out your orders. I'm just surprised that you're letting me do this alone. The only one I would trust to accompany you would be Jiraiya, and he will not be back for a week or so. If you would prefer to wait. No thanks. Naruto quickly folded up the mission order and stiffed it in a pocket. I'd rather work alone. Very well then, you are to depart tomorrow morning. I expect this mission to be a ringing success. Show me and the village what an asset you are to us. Oh, don't worry, I'll show you all something. He chuckled to himself. I'll be your cur. He laughed. And I do mean that literally. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.